Hello, welcome to tonight's edition of the Leadership Conversation. Last Sunday we had technology issues, so we had to suspend the presentation, but I'm very happy that we're back here. So I'll wait for a few seconds for those who are arriving to arrive. If you are here, you know the tradition. Just give me a wave or drop me a note. Say hi. Let me just know you are here. Thank you. So welcome. Bring your friends. Organize a watch party. Tonight we will talk about self-mastery. We will talk about self-mastery. How do you become in charge of yourself? How do you become in charge of your emotions? How do you become in charge of your impulses, of your feelings, and of your desires, and so on and so forth. Now, so we'll be talking about self-mastery. We'll be focusing basically on two main things. Okay, welcome, Grace, and all the others who are arriving. Okay, but we will be focusing basically on self-mastery. In other words, we're talking about self-mastery, but we'll be talking about self-knowledge, and then we'll be talking about self-talk. How do you know yourself? How do you know who you are and how you behave and the things that make you behave the way you do? How then, with that knowledge, how do you take control of your impulses, of the things that make you behave the way you do? Now, and having known that, what is self-talk? What is self-talk? You're always talking to yourself. You're always having a conversation with yourself. That conversation is going on all of the time. And so what is it? And how do we control it? Is it good? Is it bad? How do we become in charge of our self-talk? How do we make it positive so that we can see the kind of results that we are looking for? So welcome. Come along with your friends. Remember to organize watch parties. Share the link. Invite your friends to join. Aspiring leaders, let them join so they can have self-mastery, so that when they are sent to leadership positions, they can be in control. They can decide what they want to do and do what they want to do according to the value system that they have established for themselves. Because often people establish value system for themselves, but at the end of the day, they still feel that they are unable to respond to certain things using or resorting to the value system that they have so established. So today we are looking at self-knowledge. Okay. First and foremost, I want to begin with a quote, a quotation, or a quote from a very famous philosopher, a Jewish philosopher, a very famous Jewish philosopher that lived thousands of years ago. His name is Solomon, the king, and he once remarked that a person who is slow to anger is better than a mighty or a strong man, and a person who is able to rule his spirits or her spirit is better than a person who takes a whole city. In those days, bravery was seen in taking up a city. Those were years and times of war. Okay, so you go and you fight a nation, you launch an attack on a nation, and you take a whole city. And an army general that takes a city has a lot of respect, and people respect him and fear him. So in those days, it was about bravery. It was about who was able to beat the enemy, who was able to launch a successful attack on their enemy and take up a whole city and bring them into captivity. Now, the Bible is saying a person who is able to control their spirit, rule your spirit, rule your emotions, be in charge of your emotions, your impulses, your desires, and your internal desires, your emotions. If you can be in charge of those emotions, then you are stronger. You are to be better admired than a person who takes a whole city. So it means it's much easier to conquer a city than to conquer yourself and to conquer your own emotions and your desires and your impulses. Okay, so but how do you take control of something you don't understand? The only way to manage something, to be in charge of something, is first to understand that thing. So the first part of the presentation, we'll look at what we call self-knowledge. Self-knowledge. Okay, so you need to know yourself. Man, know thyself. Man, know thyself. Oh, by the way, the King Solomon's quote is taken from Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 32. Now, self-knowledge. So, what do you need to know about yourself? You need to know yourself very well so that you will be able to control your emotions. Now, self-knowledge, the first thing to know about yourself is about your strengths. What can you do very, very, very well? What can you do better than anybody? Everybody has got something they can do very well. They can do it better than so many other people. That's their area of strength. You place them in that area, they shine. They are in their zone. They excel beyond everybody else. They overtake everybody else. You place them in that area and they can do amazing things for you. Everybody, there's nobody who is useless. Everybody is strong in one area. You've got to know the area of your strength. Why is it important? It's important so that you can know what you can do very well, and then you can know and once you also identify your strengths, automatically you will be identifying your weak areas as well. So when you identify your strengths, then you know where to assign your time, where to assign your energy, the kinds of things you can attempt to do, so that you don't waste your time. Because it's best to focus attention on the things you can do best, so that you can leverage your strength. See? But often we are told to forget about our strength and to focus on our weakness. And so at the end of the day, we spend so much time focusing on our weakness, we are not able to exploit our strength. But tonight I want to suggest to you that it's important for you to know what you can do better than anybody else. We're often told that we cannot do it, particularly when you find yourself in the midst of people who are stronger than you, who are more educated than you, who are more senior than you, who have got more experience than you, probably can speak better than you, have gone to school better than you, and so on and so forth. So you have a tendency to look very mean on yourself. But it's important to know what your strengths are. So identify your strength. Now, once you identify your strength, you also identify your weaknesses. What are the areas where you are weak? Your weaknesses are things that you struggle with. You cannot do it well. Now, it's good to know your weakness, number one, so you can improve upon your weakness. But also, very importantly, is the fact that you can know the areas, the things that you don't want to attempt to do. So you can give it to people, you can give these things to people who can do them very well. But you need to be very strong to be able to identify your weakness and to ask someone for help. Very weak people don't ask for help because they think that when I accept that this is the area of my weakness, I will be showing weakness. And people will say, you are supposed to know everything, be able to do everything. No. Everybody has got their strength and their weaknesses. So you have to be able to know the areas where you are weak so that you can ask someone for help. We are all not endowed in the same way, or we are all not endowed equally. Everybody has got their own levels, different areas of endowments. Someone is weak in one area, another person is strong in the other area. So knowing your weakness allows you to ask for help and not to struggle with things that you cannot do and create problems. Some leaders are like that. They want to be jack of all trades. They want to be able to do everything, including the things they don't know. And in the process, they struggle and they frustrate other people and they create problems. They will not accept other people who do the thing. They will not celebrate other people who are very strong and effective in other areas, and they frustrate other people. So you need to know your weakness. Now, knowing your weakness also means you also have to know your emotions, where you are weak. There are areas where you definitely have to work on your weakness. For example, if you are weak in your emotions, like you cannot control your anger, you cannot control your impulses, and you can easily be stressed, you can easily be sad for the smallest thing, you are crying, you cannot be in control of these emotions, and then of course you need to know that you are weak in these areas and work on these areas so that you can work to control your anger. You can work to be in charge of your anger, to be in charge of your temper, and then so that you don't live your life to your emotions. So you need to know the areas where you are weak emotionally. Okay, need to know the areas where you are weak emotionally so you can take constant step to work on them. If you don't accept what your weaknesses are, you will not be able to work on them. The first point is to accept what you are weak in, and then try, take a journey, begin the journey of working on your weaknesses so that you can improve upon your weakness. Now, if you are someone who has try to identify what your personality is, it helps a great deal. Okay, personality, there are different ways of looking at personality. First and foremost is the person, when the person doesn't make his decisions on emotions or on reason, on data, on rationality, on objectivity. That's on, if you look at it on one scale. Okay, on the other scale or the other axis, is the person more socially oriented or is the person more reserved? Okay, so we can talk about, are you an extrovert or are you an introvert? Okay, now if you are an extrovert, okay, and you are also, and then you also are more emotional, then we call you a sanguine. So the sanguine is more introvert and also, sorry, extrovert, and it's also emotional. That's a sanguine. Now, the choleric is the one who is an extrovert, but he's very objective. He's very rational. Okay, he's not emotional. His decisions are based on rationality. Okay, so that's a choleric. So a choleric is very much text focused, and I don't have the time to talk about all of this thing now. So, but the person who is very objective and rational, but he's not he's not forthcoming. He's more reserved. He's more like an introvert. So the person is very objective, he's very rational, but he's an introvert. It's called melancholic. They time to make decisions. They take time to make decisions. They take a lot of time to make decisions. Very slow in decision making, but they're very analytical. And once they make their decision, they're very solid in their decision. They hardly get things wrong. They take all the time to work all of this. Then there is the phlegmatic. Okay, there's the phlegmatic who is objective, and he's rational, but then he is more, yeah, okay, so let's take it. The phlegmatic is not as rational, it's more emotional, but it's also less forthcoming. Okay, so it's like an introvert, but it's also emotional. So if you have any of these personality types, you need to know who you are and the things that you can do and the weaknesses associated with such a personality traits, so that you can work on your weaknesses and overcome these weaknesses. There are several others, okay, like neuroticism, where the person is always susceptible to emotional imbalances, and all the time he's getting sad, he's always crying. Some people are always crying, they are always stressed, they can easily get depressed. If you have a way of finding out what your personality is, it will help a great deal, so that you can get the necessary help that you need to get. Now, one other way of looking at self or getting to know self is what we call the Johari window. It's called the Johari window. Now, this thing is a theory that was found, was propounded some years ago, Joe and Harry. It's called Johari window. Okay, it's a big word, but very simple thing. It only means that everybody, there are 4 sides to you. There are 4 areas to you, or 4 windows or 4 aspects to your life. Now, One aspect of your life is things that you know about yourself and others know about you. So people know you as someone who is very passionate, and you know that you are very passionate. People know you are someone who is very committed to other people, and you know that committing to other people is your strength. People know that you are very analytical, and you know that being analytical is your strength. So that's what you know about yourself, and other people also know about you. But there are other things. The second window is the areas where you know something about yourself, but others don't know. You know what you can do. You know the skills you have. You know the experience you have. You know the strength you can have. You know the things you are passionate about. But people don't know that about you because probably you have not been given the opportunity to do them. Now, if you don't stand up, if you don't become assertive in this area, people will run you down because people are going to mark you. They are going to judge you by what they know about you or didn't know about you. They're going to make a box and put you inside. So the areas that you know that you can do something, that you know something about yourself and other people don't know about you, you have to be strong for yourself and stand up for yourself. Now, the negative part of it is that there are weaknesses that you have, secrets that you have about your life, and other people don't know it, so they still celebrate you. Well, you've got to work on this secret because one day it's going to come into the open, particularly if you're a leader. You can't deceive people forever. So you have got to find a way of dealing with these secret weaknesses so that you don't hide, because one day it will come out. It definitely will come out. One day people will get to know about it. That's the second window. The third window is things that people know about you which you don't know about yourself. So people when they observe you, they realize that you are a person of anger. You cannot control your emotions, but you don't know. You always say, "Me, I rule my spirit. I can control my anger." But your workmates know, your wife knows, your husband knows, your children know. They all know your weakness, but you yourself, you don't know. And so you are defending things that you don't have, and you are not able to work on this. In this occasion, it's proper and helpful to seek the opinion of other people about things that they know about you that you don't know. Sometimes it's not a weakness, it's a strength. I've got several people come walk to me and say, "Oh, we know you can do this very well," and I don't know. But then I begin to do some reflection and introspection and so on, and I realize that yes, these are things I can do. These are things I can do. And so you need the help of other people sometimes to point you to things that you are very good at doing, as much as you need their help to point you to things that you are not good at doing, or things that are your weakness. Now, the tricky bit, which is the fourth window, or the fourth part of the window, is the things that you don't know about yourself and others don't know about you. So maybe inside you, you're supposed to be a teacher. Inside you, placed inside you, you are supposed to be a business person. You are supposed to be something, but you don't know, and other people don't know. Now, how do you find this out? Well, this comes when you reflect, when you take a lot of time to reflect upon yourself, and then you spend, if you are someone who believes in God and you pray, you spend a lot of time asking God to reveal yourself to you, the things about you to you. So you can pray, "God, reveal to me myself, my strength. Anything you put inside me that I don't know, please reveal to me." And as you wait, as you sit, as you reflect, as you meditate upon yourself, and sometimes when you pray, you fast, God reveal these things to you. Okay, so that's the Johari window. Okay, now another way of knowing yourself is what emotional intelligence talks about. That know yourself, know your emotions, and become in charge of your emotions. Know other people, understand their emotions, and respond appropriately to their emotions. Okay, now, so that's about self-knowledge. Knowing yourself allows you to exploit your strengths and leverage them, but also identify your weaknesses so that you can work on your weaknesses. It's good to speak to people and talk to people. And of course, like the Johari window teaches us, there are aspects of your life you don't know. It's people who have to point you to this area, but you've got to be careful. There are other people who will run you down and will make you feel so stupid and useless inside. You want to avoid such people, but go around people who genuinely tell you the things that you can work on. And such people don't become nasty. Even when they are telling you about your weakness, they say it in such a way that you will you don't feel offended, you don't feel run down, you feel strengthened, so that you can work on those weaknesses. You need to get good friends who can look you in the face and say, look, Sam, yes, I like you, you're a very good person, but a few things you need to work on. And if you go genuinely, you think through, you realize that friend is good, and he will help you to improve upon yourself. We all have got to submit ourselves to somebody we trust who can help us to deal with our personal weaknesses. We also have to know friends who will affirm us, and tell you that you do this very well. Don't always hang around people who run you down. No, get people who will celebrate you, who make you to feel like a king. Yeah, that's how the great leader in you comes out. See, this is extremely important. That's about self-knowledge. Now, the second thing that I would just talk about briefly is what you call self-talk. Self-talk. Now, self-talk is a conversation that's always going on in your mind. It's a talk you are having with yourself. Your soul is speaking to yourself. Your mind is speaking to you. Your emotions are speaking to you. Your feelings are speaking to you. Okay, your desires are speaking to you. How does it go on? It's constantly telling you that you are something, good or bad. So sometimes it tells you are useless, you are hopeless, you can't do it, you are never going to succeed. Check how many people in your family have failed. Check how many of your friends have been able to do such a thing. Check the number of times that you have failed. You always fail. You always make mistake. You will never amount to anything. So this, and when that goes on for a long time, you come and develop a reality for yourself, which you keep on the neuron of your brain. So in your mind, on your brain, you accept yourself as something below, far below and worse than who you are, and even than what people think about you. So when people even celebrate you, you think they are flattering you. When they praise you, you think they are flattering you, and you always always running yourself down, maybe because of the experience that you had, and maybe your parents were very they were running you down. They never encouraged you, they never celebrated you, they always said negative things about you, and the mind is said that all those negative things that were said about you, if you didn't do anything about them, it's still there. They are still there. That's how the mind is. Whatever is told the mind just say, okay. It just say, okay. Someone say you are stupid. Okay. You'll never amount to anything. Okay. You don't say okay, but your mind says okay. Someone say, oh, you will be a failure. Okay. You don't say anything. So for us Christians, we believe that you reject every negativity. You dispute negativity. When someone tells you something that's different from you, say, no, that's not my lot, that's not my portion. You don't need to tell him outwardly, but in your spirit, you reject it and you confess and say, no, this is not my portion, that's not my portion. So you always have that conversation in your mind going on. It's running. It's like a program that's running at the bottom, at the background of your computer. It's running at the background, and it's consuming power, it's consuming battery, it's consuming data, but it's running. So that's the self-talk. It can be very negative. So and when you have negative self-talk, you need to dispute negativity. What is the word? Dispute all negativity. All the things that are thrown at you, you need to dispute them, refuse them, and reject them. And tell yourself, deep inside yourself, what it is that you are. Know I'm not stupid. I am this. And by the way, you don't repeat the negative thing. So if you constantly feel negative about yourself, if you constantly feel like a failure, that you are not going to amount to anything, you constantly are at the mercy of your emotions, and something is telling you that yes, you will always be overcome. When you are tempted, you can never overcome temptations. Yes, and so on and so forth. Your weakness is this. Your weakness is money. Your weakness is women. Your weakness is men. Your weakness is this and this and this. You will never be able to overcome them. Well, what you do is tell yourself that I can. And you handle this by what you call affirmations. Now, affirmations are positive statements you make about yourself, which are not true about yours. They are at the moment not the case with you, but that's what you want to see. So, for example, if you are someone who is very fearful, you're always afraid, always scared, and always succumbing to your emotions, and always feel negative and stupid and hopeless inside, you can make affirmations. They are positive confirmations you make about yourself. They are aspirational statements that you make about yourself, about how when things are okay, how would it look like. So, for example, now you are being overcome by situations and circumstances. When you are stressed, you collapse emotionally. So now you want to say, well, I don't want to collapse emotionally. I want to be in charge. So how do you say it? So an affirmation can be like, I am a very confident person. I'm a very strong person. I am always in charge of my emotions. When I am tempted, I am in charge. I take time to respond. I don't, and you don't want to say you don't. You want to say the positive things. I am always in charge. I take time to respond. I am in charge. I am a strong person. I'm an intelligent person. I'm a hard worker. I'm very friendly. I'm in control of my emotions all the times. I can do anything. I can do anything. Anything is possible. I don't have barriers except that which God doesn't want me to do. These are affirmations. So you constantly make these affirmations because you see, you are speaking to yourself. You are speaking to your soul. And your soul has got to do with your mind, your emotions, and your will. You are talking to yourself. And that's the subconscious. All your negative experiences from when you were born, first day in school, etc., etc., first day in marriage, the first day you fell in love, etc., in marriage, and etc., all the negative experiences and all the bad experiences or the good experiences, they are all stored on the neuron of your brain. And they are all stored in the part of your brain that we call the subconscious, which is just beneath the conscious state. So whatever happens in the conscious now is processed in the conscious and is damned in the subconscious. They are not lost. They are not lost. For example, if I were to ask you, when was the first day you fell in love with a lady or with a man? You remember. Your date of wedding, you remember, a whole new page is open to you. You can write a thesis to me on your wedding day, the day you fell in love, the first day in school, first day in secondary school, first day in the university, etc., etc., where you were living, the house that you were living, when you were in the university, or when. All of these are histories that are stored on your brain in the subconscious. These are the things that confront you, so that your self-talk is made up of all of these things. So these are the things in the background that are talking to you all of the time. Now, you can convert the negative self-talk into positive self-talk by engaging in what I've told you about affirmations. So if you're always angry with your customers, always angry with your fellow colleagues, always angry at your direct reports, your subordinates, the people that work with you, the people that report to you, you're always abusing them verbally, you can develop affirmations. I'm a very kind boss. I'm strong, I'm solid boss. Yes, I'm very hardworking boss, but I'm also kind. I'm kind-hearted. I love people who work with me. I am patient with people. When I'm irritated, I take time. I relax. I meditate upon what to do. I don't just react. I respond positively to situations. So these are affirmations that can change your negative self-talk into positive self-talk. And when the self-talk ever becomes positive, it's amazing. That's when you begin to fly. That's when you get in your zone. You can get along with everybody. You can do things that you've not been able to do. Because, you know what? I can do all things. As a believer, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. So that's in Philippians 4:13. So the process is about self-talk, affirmation. Affirm yourself. And if you've made victory, if you made success in the past in any area, when you're confronted by a similar situation, remember your past history. Remember what you did well. Remember what in school you did extremely well. You made a first class in university, or you made distinction, and so on and so forth. Now you have an academic thing you need to crack, and you are just struggling. So, well, don't forget, I'm the same person. I did it years ago. I can still do it. And that thing triggers something in your brain, and the boldness just comes, and you're able to deal with situations. Anyway, so that's about self-mastery. So if you can know yourself, know your strength, know your weaknesses, and then you can take time to leverage your strength and take time to work on your weaknesses. Those you need to work on. Those that you think that you can help, ask others to help you. Ask help from other people, so that you can take people's strength and rely on people's strength. Then they can take care of the areas that are your weakness. For example, if you're a manager, there are things you might not be able to do well, but you don't have to do everything well. That's why you have got employees who are very good in some areas. So do be willing to say, you were sorry, you don't have it, please, I need help, etc., 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 etc. Now, and of course, jewelry window, there are things you know about yourself, others don't know. Things you know about yourself, others know. Things you don't know, others don't know. Things others know, you don't know. Be willing to accept suggestions of people, as long as they are not people who run you down, but there are people who build you up, and so on and so forth. And finally, it's about self-talk. Be in charge of your self-talk. Nobody can be in charge of it for you. Only you can be in charge. And the way to be in charge is by affirmation. Once you master your emotions, once you master your impulses, once you master your desires and impulses and moods, then you realize that you are in charge, and you can do several things. So, well, thank you so much for listening. Please share this video, particularly young people who are aspiring leaders, who are trying to become leaders, or people you know that they've been struggling with emotions and negative self-talk. Please share the video. Just hit the share button. Share it. People need to get these things so they can be in charge of themselves. They can master themselves before they ascend into any leadership position. I believe if we do this, we'll be improving the quality of leadership that is provided by leaders that we have in our society, whether it's in private enterprise, public enterprise, in church, or government, politics, wherever at all. We would improve the quality of leadership that we receive. May God help all of you so that we can always improve upon our personal leadership style and become more effective leaders. Okay, remember, when you learn, you change, and when you change, there are certain habits you stop. There are certain habits you have to start. Certain habits, throw them away, get rid of them. Say, no, enough. I'm saying bye to you. I don't want you anymore. Now, there are certain habits you need to build them from the scratch. It will take self-discipline to build the habits from the scratch. But allow yourself to change. And of course, there are other things that you have already been doing. And when you realize that these things are good, you strengthen them, you build upon them. Please do learn, do change. And finally, let me hear your comments. If this presentation has been useful, please let me hear your comments. If there are areas that are not clear, you want dealt, or you want me to handle these areas, please feel free and let me know. Remember, this presentation is based on my book on leadership stripped bare. Get your copy. Thank you, and God bless you. God willing, I'll come again. I'll come your way again on Sunday at 5:30. Thank you. Bye for now.